Guys, what's up? Like I said, content daily. We're locking in. Today's topic of discussion: Adam22 and Bricc. Adam just posted a video on his YouTube saying how he's turned his back on Bricc. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're gonna go stop and go.
Baby, I'm coming for you. So let me explain. I was in Turks and Caicos for approximately 1 week, and it came down the pipe while I was out there, that Bricc had some choice words for the 22 stir, and today we're going to be reacting to those words. So let's get right into it.
Hey, what's that big old deal, man? It's the Bricc, man. Why everybody laid up with their feet up out there vacationing, playing like they ain't got nothing for the kids, man. You already know we still keeping it strong. Nigga don't need nothing for. Hey, sometimes it be a mental test to see where a nigga hard at in his chest, man. You know what I'm saying? A motherfucker use you, abuse you. As soon as you get out the way, they act like they ain't worried about losing you. You know what I mean?
Okay. So if you didn't catch it, this is a thinly veiled shot at the 22 stir. I was on vacation. I did have my feet kicked up. But let's talk about Bricc, and in particular, the financial side of my relationship with the Bricc, not the trick. When Bricc came on the platform 2 years ago, pretty quickly, the feds ran up in his crib and raided him. He needed money to get out. Now, it's been discussed at length that I fronted him an amount of money, $5,000, so that he could get out the same day that he was picked up. I know Whack 100 and a few other people have been spreading information saying that this was cap. I don't know. Honestly, the other day in the Reddit, somebody posted information saying that he really did have a bail and that was where the $5,000 went. I never really heard about it. I heard rumors in the streets that maybe this money was not required for him to be bailed out, that he didn't have a bail. But I did see these screenshots in the Reddit that make it seem as if he did have a bail. I didn't make a big deal out of it. I gave him the money, had to get him back out on the streets. I knew that he had potential. I knew that I could take him from being a marginal figure in the LA podcasting space to being one of, if not the most talked about person in the podcasting space, which is exactly what has happened over the course of the past couple of years. Never asked him for the money back.
So real quick, I just want to stop it right there and acknowledge that I agree 100% with Adam22 here. I saw the potential in him as well, and I was actually a big fan, huge fan of Bricc. This is why I'm covering him in my first videos on him. Let's continue.
For like 2 years after that, he did not ask me for any additional funds. So from my perspective, I was just like, okay, whatever. This is part of doing business. I gave him the $5K. I'm not going to bring it up again. And over the course of those 2 years, my prediction did come true. Bricc basically soared to new heights, became one of the most talked about people in the community. And as far as our relationship, I would like to think that we actually became something like friends. We got closer and closer, spent time hanging out various times, went out to a lot of different parties and stuff, basically formed a relationship that honestly was a little bit more developed than the type of relationship that I've formed with most of the hosts that No Jumper has had over the years. Fast forward to a couple months ago, Bricc reaches out to me again, asks if he can borrow a couple $1,000s for, I don't know, he's like moving into a new spot or some shit like that. I said, okay. Didn't even bring up the fact that I had let him borrow this $5,000. I figured after 2 years, shit, whatever. So I let him borrow this additional $2,000-$3,000. I forget what it was. And then very soon after that, like I'm talking like a week later, he gets picked up by the feds, right? Ever since then, there's been murmurings, people wondering, what is Adam22 going to do to help out Bricc in this situation? Now, from my perspective, I'm $7,000, $8,000 in the hole in terms of money that I have let you borrow, which I'm not really the kind of person who lets people borrow money all the time. Like, of everybody who's ever worked for me, I honestly don't think I can think of a situation in which any of them have borrowed money from me. Like, that's just not really the kind of relationship that I like to have with people who work for me. If it is an emergency, okay, we could do something. But for the most part, this is just not really how I get down. It's like I don't like to have that kind of thing going on. I pay you for your service and you do the job and we're good. But as far as taking out loans consistently, constantly, I'm not really into it. That being said, it was only 2 times throughout our relationship so far. But I say all that to just set the stage. Then he gets locked up, And people are pretty much automatically, you know, suggesting in the comments, people talking about it on podcasts, is Adam going to pay for his lawyer? Is Adam putting money on his books? Whatever.
I just wanted to stop it right there because I feel like if this was Adam's true friend, I wouldn't be putting out our personal business, especially if I lent you some money. You know, I'm just not that type of dude, especially if he's talking like the type of relationships that he's saying that he has with Bricc. You know what I mean? But let's get back into it.
He didn't say anything about it, which I kind of appreciated because I feel like if I just gave you $2,000 like immediately before you got locked up, it is kind of weird for you to get locked up and then be like, hey, like, can I have even more money, especially given this prior debt? Because my thing is like, if you want to get an official verdict on how I'm willing to help you out financially in addition to what I've done for you previously, I feel like you should be upfront about that. I've talked to Bricc on the phone a whole bunch of times since he's been locked up, including like the day before this video came out, and it was none of this energy at all. And in addition to that, we've got people like Sharp, who don't got a pot to piss in, who ain't done nothing for Bricc, who can't do anything for anybody because he's dead broke. He's coming out, making YouTube videos, doing streams where he's passing judgment on what I've done for Bricc. Keep in mind, I've had Bricc on salary for 2 years straight. Even when he was missing shows, even when he was out of town doing whatever, never fronted on him in terms of the money. Now we've got Sharp, who, you know, Sharp has never done anything besides sex traffic women and be ugly. And he's out here trying to cast judgment on me. So let's play the Sharp clip.
Pretty much, if he is to get out, or, you know what I'm saying, even hits the streets, they don't want him on that podcast at all. They want him to resign from it, like, be done with it. They don't... The feds do not want him on No Jumper no longer. I'm telling you facts. This isn't what I think. No, it's what I know.
So if this is true, this is the first and only source that I've heard from that has specified this in any way. Do I have concerns about Bricc Baby returning to the platform? Yes, obviously. That would be kind of interesting, and I would wonder about the level of heat that it would draw to the building. Obviously, things like the gun that they saw in his waistline that I didn't see and that I don't think the comments saw, but that was pointed out in his bail hearing that he had a strap on him. That kind of thing is the kind of thing that I would want to really be on point with. But the idea that the feds or the cops have told Bricc that he's no longer allowed to be on No Jumper, this is a Sharp narrative as of this point. Like, I have absolutely no idea if this is a real thing or not, but it does seem kind of odd if this is something that Bricc told Sharp and didn't tell me or anybody else from No Jumper. I mean, keep in mind, Bricc and Sharp have had a weird relationship over the years because when we fell out with Sharp, Bricc talked hella shit about him on the platform and then basically continued to...
Adam is such a hater, man. He's so funny, though. I'm actually a fan of Adam. He's funny, though. But I don't know where he's going with this. This is going into the Sharp thing. So, again, let's continue, see where this is going. Hopefully we can wrap this up shortly.
But either way, I mean, to me, this is just a completely invented Sharp narrative as far as I know. It's kind of odd that he would know about this and I wouldn't know about this. But let's keep going.
You know, to a lot of you dummies, because it went to prove because everybody was screaming, oh, they're going to be out on Wednesday. No, they're not. I knew it when it came to the bail hearing and how things play. Like, that is just, they're just giving them that. Now you got to appeal it. And then, you know, to hear, you know, when he was calling, you know, Adam, he ain't answering, or whatever the case may be. He's calling people and they not picking up. Now they're avoiding him. Why is that? Boy, why aren't you answering Bricc calls?
Another Cap Sharp narrative. I have not been ducking any phone calls, and keep in mind that his baby mama has been in communication with me, talking to me, telling me what time Bricc was going to call and everything. But every time that I got on the phone with Bricc, it's been like 2 or 3 minutes of conversation, and then he gets kicked off because I guess he's only allowed to be on the phone for 10 minutes at a time. Never at any point until I was in Turks and Caicos, like right before that other video clip came out, did Bricc even utter something that mentioned or inferred that he thought that he should be getting in any way some money from us. So to me, I'm gonna be real with you, I just feel like this is some hoe ass shit. No offense, Bricc, I don't really want to use the hoe word when it comes to you or anything, but how are you gonna be out here communicating shit like this to Sharp and not having the nuts to say it to me. And in addition to that, I mean, let's be real about the relationship between an employer and a worker. If Bricc had asked me in the beginning, Adam, if I get locked up, will you bail me out? Will you pay for my lawyer, etc.? My response early on probably would have been like, no. Like, I would prefer to not take our relationship to that extent. Like, that's just not something I really go into business with someone being prepared to do. It does leave a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth to realize that Bricc is comfortable having conversations about me to Sharp, but won't have that same conversation to me. Like, if you want to borrow money, you can ask me. I was actually kind of looking forward to him asking me so I could have a conversation with him about the fact that he's already in a pretty significant amount of debt to me, but that conversation never came. And then in addition to that, I heard it through the grapevine that Bricc basically thought that he was going to keep getting paid. That even though he's locked up and he's not able to contribute to the business by being on camera, that he thought that he was just so locked in that he was going to keep getting his monthly pay each month. I'm sorry. I know you guys all saw the No Jumper is Going Broke video. We are not in the best financial state right now. Me paying someone to be in federal prison.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack right there. Okay, there's a lot to unpack, and I'm gonna try to do my best to, peel back the layers of the onion, like I like to say. So he says there, he wants to bring up the fact that Sharp is creating this narrative about Bricc Baby and him having conversations behind Adam's back. I believe that's what he's trying to convey there. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what it sounds like. Then he transitions from that going to what did he say? He started talking about how when he had a conversation with Bricc, the amount of time that he had was 3 minutes due to him being on the federal phones, which that is true. I know in the feds that they only give you a certain amount of time on the phones. It's not like when you're in county, like regular county or state prison. It's very different. They give you a allotted amount of time to use, and once it's up, and I'm sure he's talking to his family, his wife, his lawyer, all types of shit, so he's calling Adam probably on 3 ways for like 2-3 minutes. I get that. I understand where he's coming from on that, but the simple fact is that he never all these things that he's bringing out there about how him being paid, should still be getting paid from No Jumper, potentially not getting any help from Adam when he's already in the hole. It's a lot there, on top of him saying that No Jumper's going broke. So it's a lot. It's an umbrella there, so let's keep it going.
Realistic.
Y'all been making content about them for the last 2 weeks. Why is it that he ain't received a paycheck and motherfuckers is making money off of what he been doing? And I'm hearing that, from reliable sources, his people, done reached out about it, and, they're not getting no feedback on it, no response. I mean, they did have a life before he went to jail, homie. Like I said, that's what happens at jobs. Like, he don't get his money, and missing out on some bands because he ain't there. Come on, brother. That ain't cool. You supposed to make sure that he got it. His baby mama or nobody ain't received nothing. Like, just even the money that he's owed legitimately for what, the work that he's done. Because I know he got a salary. Why ain't that man received his bread? Like, what's going on?
Sharp is basically alleging that No Jumper has not paid Bricc the money that we owe him. Well, he obviously has absolutely no knowledge of this, because I would gladly open up our books and let everybody see the fact that we paid Bricc for exactly the amount of time that he was on the podcast. So this is ridiculous. This is just totally fake. Sharp, again, basically a bum at this point. He's on the verge of homelessness. He's going to go back to Vegas and continue his sex trafficking career at the truck stops in Vegas. And apparently he's just trying to get one little tiny moment of clout by calling me out. His YouTube channel is in the fucking dirt. And so he's out here spreading misinformation about me. Sharp, use a hoe. Use a hoe commenting on real business, because you've never ran a business. You're doing live streams for 200 people for 6 hours every night. I know this video is not about Sharp, but it's just so hard for me to hold my tongue when it comes to describing what a hoe-ass bitch Sharp is. Okay, let's just go back to the Bricc thing. I guess I just wanted to make this video to clarify that I'm not on any weird shit. I'm not on any disloyal shit. My perspective is just, no, I'm not going to keep you on the payroll while you're locked up. That's just not, that's an abuse of the relationship that you think that we have. It's like, there's probably a lot of people in your life that could help you out with money. And I have nothing against giving the guy some money for commissary, helping his girl out with whatever. But it's just at a certain point, you've already worked up a significant debt with me. It takes a lot of nerve to make YouTube videos basically throwing shade at me when realistically, I'm probably the person who showed you the most love in recent memory. Now, that being said, Bricc, he's locked up. He's detoxing off perks, I'm assuming. So he's probably not in the best mental state. I'm not turning my back on him by any means. I'm just calling out some behavior that I personally don't really agree with and don't care for. So we actually do have plans. We've got some free Bricc Baby shirts that we're going to be dropping in the very near future. The proceeds from that are going to him and his family. And in addition to that, we do have a live stream coming up in the very near future, probably by the end of this week. And in that live stream, we are going to be taking all of the donations. Friday is looking like it might be the day. Friday, we might be doing this. All the donations are going to be going to Bricc Baby to help him out. That being said, I don't really appreciate some of this weird backstabby type of stuff. You know, honestly, it's just, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I feel like you should have more respect for the relationship that we've had over the years and the fact that I've kept you on your feet over the years. But I'm not turning my back on you by any means. We are going to be helping Bricc Baby out. And so show up to that live stream Friday. Hopefully we make it happen Friday. But yeah, Adam22, free Bricc. Smack a like. We out.
Okay, so his title was a little misleading, I think. I'm gonna tell you where I'm at with this situation. I'm gonna just tell you where I'm at. So hearing all that Adam says, he's funny, man. Him talking about Sharp, that shit's funny as fuck. I agree with him as far as some of the points that he was making, where I feel like he shouldn't have taken this to the internet, especially given from what Adam is saying. Obviously there's three sides of every story. Given everything that Adam is saying, and I'm kind of believing everything that he's saying as far as the money that he's borrowed and you know, giving, you know, just building him up, you know, seeing him as a uncut gem and trying to polish that up type shit, you know. So the title was a little misleading because I feel like he was just setting the record straight, and since Bricc wanted to go to the internet with it, he's doing the same thing. You know, he's all about the content, man. He's all about the content. That being said, I do like what they're doing as far as the free Bricc Baby shirts and the live stream that they're going to do this Friday. I might donate myself free Bricc. So that's going to conclude the video for today, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe, please. Like I said, we're going to be going up. By the end of this year, we're going to be monetized. Next year, we're going up. We're coming for no jumper.